Welcome to the High Value Sales Show of Eversprint.com. I'm Malcolm Louie, the managing member of Eversprint, and today we're speaking with Greg Samuels, the CEO of Solvaria, a consulting firm that leverages technology experts to support the data and the people of their clients. Welcome to the show, Greg.
Thanks, Malcolm.
Greg, you grew your company's revenue from $2.3 million in 2014 to $3.7 million in 2017, a 63% increase. And in 2018, you hit around $4 million. Before we talk about how you grew your company so fast, can you briefly share what your company does beyond my quick intro and how your company differs from the competition?
Sure. Solvaria, founded in 1997, we're really divided into two sides of the house. One side is the strategic leadership division, where we serve as IT leaders for other organizations. So we serve as that senior most person accountable on the executive team. So we serve as chief information officers and chief technology officers for other companies on a fractional basis. The other side of my firm is the data services division, where we provide 24/7 monitoring, maintenance, and troubleshooting of customers' database environments. As you know, Malcolm, almost every piece of software in the marketplace has some database behind the scenes, and those databases require maintenance, and they require a specific set of skills known as a database administrator. We serve as the database administrator for other companies. So both sides are very similar in that we play a key role in the business for other companies and play a key role in technology, but very different in terms of the skill sets that I hire and that I use.
Now, in terms of database management, database administration, can you give ideas to the size, scale, magnitude, use of these databases that you're managing and administering?
Sure. So we serve, we have one company where we serve 7 of the locations globally. It's a large multinational organization. And so they have a laboratory information management system that they use in their manufacturing process. So every single facility has this LIMS system running. And this LIMS system has a background or has a back-end database of Microsoft SQL Server. So there's there's terabytes of data, and these laboratory systems require to have fast response, to be tuned, to have reporting against them. So our DBAs spend our time making sure that the database is performing at its optimal level to give the workers the information as quickly as possible. And that's on the large side. We also deal with businesses where they have one major system. It's more of a smaller company, and they have one system that is their system of record for everything that they do to conduct their business. And while the company is smaller in nature, the database is critical. So having that DBA skill set available on demand, and when there's issues, we work harder. When there's no issues, we make sure everything is stable. That's a boon to smaller companies. So our customers are really all over the board.
Right. Now, for the smaller businesses that have you said one database that manages everything. What kind of database are you talking about in that regard typically? CRM is it?
Yeah, it could be an ERP system, so an enterprise resource planning system. It could be one of the CRMs, one of the older style CRMs that have an on-premises database. It could be a database in the cloud, and they could be looking to do more advanced analytics in nature, where they're trying to build reports off of this database suite. So yeah, it could be accounting, could be a human resources system. We really see a lot of different uses. I mean, again, all major software packages have some type of database on the back end.
Right. Got it. So it sounds like you don't really have a real cookie cutter product or service, because every company's database set's going to be different.
Well, we do have a standard. We have a 24/7 monitoring and maintenance agreement that we have, that customers pay us monthly to provide management of their environments. This is actually an area and a product that was instrumental in the growth of our company as we took on more and more of these managed services for companies. But yes, every customer has their own different databases, but the premise of having multiple DBAs available on call when there are issues, being able to troubleshoot and rectify issues as they arise, being able to put in standard monitoring so that when an alert goes off at 2 in the morning, my team is the one that answers them. So there are a lot of similarities between the different customers, but the nuances of the actual data and the actual environment is different.
Right. So if a client has a software package that you currently aren't working with, so hence the database and the technical issues around those databases would be different. Mm-hmm. What do you do in that situation? Do you just get your team up to speed on that product and their database? Or do you...
we come up, so every client has different software. So while we're not application developers, we're not the people who are going to build or maintain the applications. We are database experts. So what we often do is work with customers in development teams. So we're working with the development teams that are already at the customer. And if the customer is smaller in nature and really they're relying on outside consulting services for maintenance or development of that application, we're working with those consultants and we're working with those vendors to actually be the interface between the application software environment and the database environment. Here's a common scenario, Malcolm. A customer is running a piece of software that they've been running for several years. They've been running since 2015. And vendor X comes up and says, hey, we've got a new version of this for 2019. You need to follow these things to install the software. And invariably what happens is there's an upgrade that's required. And usually the software vendor says, okay, well, you can install our new system on this server, but in order for your database to get upgraded, you need to run this version of SQL Server, or you need to have a new server. You need to use this Azure cloud-based service, and your DBA can set that up for you. And what happens is the customer pauses and says, wait, I don't have a DBA. You guys did this for us the first time, or we had a consultant help us out with this at one point. And so that's when we get the call. We get the call to help those customers move on because we can serve as that DBA role.
Right. Okay. Got it. Now, do you find that most software packages out there, they in general use a common database in the back end, right? You mentioned the Microsoft SQL database several times.
Yeah, we're seeing, so we deal with Microsoft, so SQL Server. We deal with Oracle's database. We deal with NoSQL, which is another. We also deal with MySQL, which is for a lot of the open source packages. And then there are there's a host of cloud service providers where they have their own proprietary database structure or a different type of open structure. Similar, Salesforce would be an example. Salesforce has their own database structure. And when we get pulled in, we're not necessarily maintaining Salesforce's database on the back end. What's happening is customers are looking to build reports interfacing that Salesforce data with something else in their organization. So in that case, I have skilled reporting people who are working with those customers to actually take the data out of Salesforce and merge it and combine it with data that they have inside the business to provide one single report.
Right. Got it. Now, you grew your business quite rapidly, 2.3 million in 2014, and you almost doubled it 4 years later to 4 million. What were the three biggest drivers of your growth?
So we always look at people, process, and technology. We do it when we talk to customers, and when we look at a problem in their business, we talk about people, process, and technology. For us, it was the same. It was the same way. So on the people side, so when I bought the business in 2012, the business was founded by another gentleman, and he was looking to retire. I joined the company in 2011, and I purchased the company in 2012. When I bought the company, we had 14 employees, and our model was we were providing services to clients, and our demand was always the employees that we had in the company were always a lot less than the customer demands. We were always making sure that demand was outstripping the supply. And while that's a good strategy to keep a small company and to not really not really push yourselves as an organization. For us, for me, the key was we needed more people to really be available and to really help our salespeople feel confident in going out and going for the big wins and going for the big clients. And so we made a commitment on the people side to find the best senior talented database professionals. We opened a different line of business, which was adding on the Microsoft suite. And we really invested in the people side of the business. The second arm is the process. We wanted to make sure that what we were doing, in 1997, we were maintaining Oracle instances for clients. We didn't call it managed services. We didn't call it DBA services. We had customers who were running Oracle on the background. Oracle is their database platform, and we were simply helping them out. Well, by productizing database services and talking about our 24/7 monitoring and all of the pieces parts that would be included in that product, that started to be part of our sales process to say, we have a specific line of business that can meet your needs. And yes, you have a nuanced environment, but the processes are the same in terms of setting up monitoring, having a team of 3 senior level professionals with you, and really providing a roadmap for how we guide you down the path of managed services. And then the last is technology. The technology has come a long way. Gone are the days where customers make $500,000, $1 million investments in hardware only to then spend 2 and 3 times that on consulting services and software, et cetera. So now with the advent of the cloud, with the advent of being able to do remote monitoring, I no longer have to send people on site to monitor companies' instances. Actually, we don't even really care where the database platforms reside. They could be residing in a hosting center. They could be residing on-prem at a client. They could be residing off-site, or they could be residing in the cloud using something like Azure or Amazon Web Services, et cetera. We can actually maintain those databases from anywhere. And it's really the technology has gotten to the point where we can provide 24/7 DBA insurance across the world, which is what we did.
All right, fantastic. Now, for going a little deeper into each of the 3 drivers you mentioned, on the people side, you made a choice, a decision to hire more senior level DBAs, database staffs, which lets your salespeople be more confident and allow them to go after bigger customers. And then on the process side, you talked about how you develop processes, which of course each client has a separate set of specific needs, but your process is generally the same, right? You mentioned about building a team, movement, and a few other things. And the last one is technology. All right, with the cloud, the advent of the cloud, advent of connectivity to people's databases that might be on premise, it allowed your team to work remotely, which has some cost benefits, right? I mean, you don't need to send people out, and more scalable. They can do their work much more so as opposed to being on a plane going from site to site.
That is correct.
Okay. Yep. So on the people side, I know you talked about adding more senior DBAs to help on the technical side of things. When you did that, how did your salespeople take advantage of that new capacity and find more clients?
Well, I think what it does is it legitimizes us as a company in terms of when I come into the region and I can confidently say when I sit down with a customer, whether it's a large enterprise, small or a small to mid-sized business, I say, we simply have the best DBAs in the region, and I've got 20 of them working with me, all senior, all 10 to 15 years worth of database experience or higher. My lead in my practice is coming up on 30 years working with SQL Server. And SQL Server was barely a product 30 years ago. So the fact that we bring the numbers of people, that has certainly, it certainly helps you as a company. When you are a small business provider and you have 5, or even when we had 14 employees, and my Oracle team I had 3 high-quality Oracle professionals. It's great. And customers who used us and who knew of us relied on these Oracle professionals and felt felt confident in the services we provided. What we didn't prove and what we couldn't demonstrate was scale. And for us, adding more people and adding more individuals helps us really prove scale. So it helps us go after the bigger jobs. And when we're talking to a major multinational bank, or we're talking to a major international manufacturer, the question of scale comes up. And yes, I can say, well, your client or your engagement will have 3 senior level professionals, but I've got certain clients where I have 7, 8, 9 senior level professionals available and working on different aspects of that client at any time. And for us to be able to demonstrate scale has really helped us go after the bigger wins.
And I think they probably take comfort in knowing that if anything goes wrong at any hour of the day, you have people ready to help.
Correct. Yeah, and that's great, and it also helps us. It helps keep us from burning out our senior level folks who have been here a long time and have been used to being the only person available at 2 a.m. So being able to have other people share in the pain of on call at 3 a.m. has really helped prevent some of my other senior folks of saying, look, I'm the only person who has to answer the phone at 3 o'clock. That's a hardship on me. So it's given people a little better balance in the working life as well as their home life, because they know that they're not the one always on call.
Yeah, and you definitely don't want to lose those guys or women.
Definitely not.
Mm-mm. All right. For the second one, the processes. Can you talk a bit more about how you develop them and how you refine them going forward?
Sure. So we took what we proved was a great service in our Oracle business, and we said, okay, well, what is the commonality between all of these various clients to which we're doing database maintenance? And we broke it down into different sections, whether we're putting our own monitoring scripts on, or we are providing a team of 3 who all have connectivity, who are all familiar with your account. Or we took all of those pieces parts and laid them out into what would be a working proposal, as saying this is what is included in our services. And then we also added on and looked at what optional services. Some customers, believe it or not, don't want 24/7 troubleshooting. They're an 8 to 5 business. They're always an 8 to 5 business, and they don't want that after hours monitoring. They're never going to have people on their side who are going to pick up the phone and call us at 2 a.m. So that can be an option for customers. So by taking all of these processes and really making it a product. So we were able to take that, apply it, take it from the Oracle world that we learned, apply it to the newer business, which was SQL Server. See, we had 0 SQL Server business starting in 2011. Fast forward to today, I'd say 90% of our database services is SQL Server. So we've lost 0 Oracle business. We've lost 0 of any of these other database platforms. It's just the Microsoft world had exploded on us, and there was a real need in the marketplace. So we answered that need. So by taking what we had learned from another product platform and turning it into a product, that's really what kind of laid the road forward for us to grow.
All right, got it. And the third one, technology. Now, the web, the cloud-based services certainly increase the utilization rates and the service you can provide to your customers. How has that impacted your top line or bottom line, right? Because the costs have gone down for the customers, right, for maintaining.
Correct. I think the cost has gone down for the customers. The cost has also gone down for companies like myself. If you walk into my office in Richmond, Virginia, we have no servers, we have no data center. We have strong internet connectivity, and we have a lot of laptops. And what you'll find is if I were to start this business 30 years ago, I have to run my own data center. I have to run my own servers. I have to send these people on site, on-prem, to all of the various clients to do health checks and make sure their databases are running correctly. The cost model is just it would not be attractive. It wouldn't be the kind of service that we would want to sell, because honestly, it would be harder to make money at it. So by now having all of the technology at our fingertips and having all of the services available and at an affordable rate, not only does it make us easier and more nimble to deal with customers, but it also helps us from a security perspective, because I know at the end of the day, if one of my employees is traveling to a client and they leave their laptop in a cab, and yes, that's happened before. They leave their laptop in the cab. There's zero customer-specific information on that cab. They could walk into any Apple store or any Best Buy or any other company that sells laptops, buy a laptop, and be up and running in a matter of an hour and be back and doing their job. You could not do that 20 years ago.
Right. And now, has that put any sort of pricing pressures on your services?
No, it actually has made our services. It's made our services more attractive to customers because we're trying to break the mold of what the traditional company offers. So in corporate America, if you have a database administrator, you have one DBA. Guy's making a six-figure salary. Let's say he's making $120,000, $130,000 a year, and that's on the low side. But I'll just throw that out as an example. If that person is burning out from the company or gets a more attractive offer somewhere, or that person decides to leave the company for whatever reason, the knee-jerk reaction from corporate America is, okay, well, I have to go hire and that exact same role. And what we're saying is we come in between that process and say, look, you don't have to hire that person as a full-time. You don't have to hire one individual as a full-time individual working for your company. You could contract for our services cheaper, and we're going to provide you better resources, and we're going to have faster response, and we're going to have multiple resources. So we have not seen cost pressures of with the cost of hardware and the cost of technology coming down. We've actually seen it actually opening the door for us with other customers because they get it. The consumerization of technology has been wonderful for businesses like mine because people get the idea of cloud-based services, managed services, etc.
Right. Now, I know every client is different, but roughly speaking, what are, if they look at it from a cost perspective, how much are they saving? Instead of spending $120K a year on the low end for a DBA, how much might they be spending with your company? Perhaps it provides similar.
We've seen as great as 30% less spend on these type of technology services. Really, if you think about that employee, you join a large company. There's the lift right away for benefits. There's a lift right away for time. And then what I mean by that time is if you have a contract. If you have somebody who's a consultant working for your organization and they take an 8-hour day, they're serving as that consultant. They're working 8 hours on your client. So they're focused 100% on the service that they're providing for that client. Take a same employee who is working an 8-hour day in corporate America, and they're being pulled away for team meetings. They're being pulled away for company events. They're being pulled away for the usual distractions that happen in a work environment. So we see a real time, companies are recovering a lot of time because we're being more efficient with the time that we're using with these clients. So, rough numbers, we've seen 30% or more, but I could say with 100% of confidence that you're spending less than $120,000 and you're getting more services and you're getting faster services.
Yeah, and then if you factor in the 120K, that's just on someone's salary, right? You have fixed costs, you have benefits, and so on, right? It can be easily a senior level hire can be, multiple.
Yeah, you're putting another 30% on that just for benefits and for all of what's included. Yeah. I'm not saying all of our services are $120,000 a year either. I mean, we have some customers who literally are paying us $3,000 a month to maintain their database environment, and right. So, you can't tell me that for $36,000 a year, you're going to hire a senior level professional to perform the kind of services that we perform. And customers seen it, and we've seen it in our growth.
Yep, definitely. For 2019, what are your plans? What are your targets, and how are you going to get there?
So we're shooting north of $4.5 million for 2019 as our targets. How do we get there? I think for us, we continue to add great professionals to our team. So that's building in capacity. We also are expanding our sales team to make sure that we are spreading the message, we're networking with the right folks, and then we're building our contact lists of of who we know. So adding clients and also looking at opportunities for organic growth within our clients. An example would be, of late, a big concern of customers is database security. So companies who go through any type of penetration testing or vulnerability assessments, they're going with these companies who provide those services. One of the areas that we find sometimes is a gap is in the database security world. So we are, again, as a product, we're offering a database security audit where we're able to go into customers' database environments and look at potential security vulnerabilities that exist with their data environment. And so by doing that, that allows us to go into our existing business and from an organic growth perspective, try to market new services to those customers, as well as use that as a lead into other companies as an introduction to who we are and the kind of services that we have.
Right. Now, do you already have additional services to offer to your clients, or are there other ones that you're developing and testing right now?
Well, we always continue to look at what potential extensions to our business are there. But the one thing, Malcolm, that I think we've done a great job of is I call it staying in our lanes. It's not a unique term and not a unique proposition, but by focusing only on data services and focusing on the strategic leadership side, I want people to know that when they think of data and they think of data issues, they think of us. So if it's something outside of that, if they're experiencing hardware issues or they're experiencing development programming issues or they're having networking issues, that while they can call us and we can say, yeah, that's not what we do, but we may have a partner or know somebody who can help you and we can refer you to them. By staying true to data and leadership, and if there's something that's naturally folding into the data world, like last year in our data services area, we started doing some data science work. So the data science work, it's a little different discipline than core DBA services, but we have a couple data scientists who have worked with some of our strategic clients. That was a natural addition to our business because it's still focused around data. So by staying in our lanes, it's allowed us to grow and spread our message, but it also helps us consider whether something does make sense for us to do. I think what I find and what I don't love about IT businesses and why it's hard to describe our business to people who aren't in technology is because a lot of IT companies they'll take whatever if you call them with a problem, yeah, we'll do that. We'll find the right people and we'll help you out and we'll take it on. And by remaining true to us and saying, no, that's not something that we do, but we can probably find a partner or find somebody to help you do that. It's helped us stay on the right path to growth.
Right. Now, in regards to hiring more people to help you grow, how far ahead do you go in terms of adding supply beyond your demand?
So we don't go that far. I mean, we are always looking and talking to people who could potentially be part of our organization. And frankly, I say on the strategic leadership side, I meet at least every other week with somebody who's interested in becoming a fractional CIO or a fractional CTO. Because they're working for a larger company and they want to make an impact in smaller companies and serve as part-time leadership for other companies. So we always have a working list of folks that we either know or have met with who would be good candidates. On the database services side, I can tell you the market is extremely tight, and for us to want to hire a professional that has 15 plus years of data services experience, it's gotten increasingly hard because I think it's a combination of if it's somebody in this area who is that kind of professional, we've probably met them, talked to them, hired them, or we know where they are and we follow them in their career. So when there's opportunities to come work for us, we can jump on it. And I think so for us, we have to expand the net, and we've started working with some other outside firms and outside companies to help us identify talent who can eventually do contract work for us, who can eventually come hire and come work for us full time.
Right. So would you right now? Imagine you say your team now is at full utilization rate with the current demand. So you would just hire one more person, right, to give you a bit more excess capacity so that your team can then?
Yeah, our team currently, we've just recently hired a couple folks. So our team currently, we've got good capacity for growth, but we're always looking about 6 months out, Malcolm, on the work, and we're trying to look at the production schedule, look at what our DBAs are involved in, look at how many people are on call at night, look at how many clients we can confidently service, and from that 6-month production schedule, we can really determine, okay, we know that we need to start hitting the pavement in the next 2 or 3 months to find that next great add to our team. So it's been a controlled growth. I'm never going to be the company who's going to go out and hire 6 more people all at once. It's never happened for us. I think for us over the years, 1 and 2 employees over a certain period has been our model. And frankly, we went from it was very shocking to me when I saw we had 41 people billing in our system, because we would always hire 1 or 2 folks, and it was never a large number of people that were coming on board at the same time. Only in the past couple of years has it been we've hired 1 or 2 folks every quarter, and that's been something that's been it's been very strange for me, but it's been very good for the company.
Right. Now, for the second factor behind your growth, you mentioned about your sales team, expanding your sales team, having your team do more networking, having them build their list. Can you give more details about that? You're looking to hire more salespeople?
Well, we've always carried a couple of salespeople, and for us, how do we sell this business? I'd say the easiest way for me to describe how we sell this business is when you hire a seasoned sales professional. If somebody in my mind is worth their salt, they're bringing with them a Rolodex, which your younger viewers won't even know what a Rolodex is, but they're bringing with them a list of contacts in the network of people that they've had interaction with at their previous jobs. And so what I try to build is I'm trying to build this Venn diagram of salespeople who have some people they all know and they all have in common, but really they're all bringing different contacts and different connections in the business world to the table to say, hey, give this company an opportunity to meet with you and talk about the services that we have. And so the winning theme, I feel, in building a good quality sales team, and again, I'm not a sales specialist, I'm not a sales manager, I've been a lifelong consultant, so all I know is that the winning theme for us has been you bring different people to the table who have different contacts, who can reach out and spread the net in different ways. That seems to be how you start to win and how you start to get more clients.
How about in regards to marketing to help provide leads for your sales team to pursue? What are you doing on that front?
So in the past, I started 5 years ago, I hired my first marketing person. And I hired her on a contract basis. I'm like, I'm not sure what I would do with this marketing person. And so I brought her on contract for approximately, I think I brought her on, the agreement was for 3 months. Well, after the first 3 weeks, my lead salesperson and I said, I don't know how we live without this person, and I can't believe this company has gone this long without hiring a full-time marketing person. So within 3 weeks, we already started talking to her about coming to work for us full-time. And I think after month 2, we did make the full-time offer. So I had one marketing person, and the first thing that we did was we were using an old antiquated CRM system. So what we did is we migrated and we went to one of the newer cloud-based CRMs, and that was step 1 for us. So we could actually do active leads, we could do email campaigns, we could have marketing be the top of that funnel. And so that was kind of step 1. And then step 2 was we were always involved in having an intern work with us. We hired a marketing intern, and then this year we had one of our marketing interns, and we were so happy with her. We've actually expanded our marketing team to a second person, and so now we've got this division of labor where somebody's focused on that marketing funnel, focused on getting leads into the door so our salespeople can be more productive with their time. And we also have someone who can also serve as that inside sales and marketing person who can help coordinate events, who can help the salespeople with statements of work and contracts, et cetera. So again, trying to make the team more efficient and bringing internal process in so we can just keep pushing down the road.
Right. So I took a look at your online presence from a advertising perspective. Mm-hmm. And for the tools I have, I didn't really see anything on the pay-per-click side, and I didn't really see much being done on the SEO side as well. What's your thoughts about that?
Yeah, so we're in the midst of a digital transformation on our website. We want to have one of the things that we found that we've gotten the most. Where do we get the most play online? The most play online for us is through our thought leadership. It's through our articles and our blog posts. We released an article about an upgrade to Oracle that was causing a lot of problems, and one of our DBAs wrote a great blog post about transitioning to Oracle 12 and what problems that he saw. That has gotten more play online than any other campaigning, any other dollars, etc. So we really have tried to focus on more thought leadership activities so that we are giving to the technology community. We are seen as leaders in those areas. And so that's part of our new strategy. Another part is by redoing our website, we are going to make more pages that are that will help us on the SEO or the PPC side, so we could actually direct people directly to database services or direct people directly to SQL Server services. So that's a engagement that's in process right now. We actually have been working with several agencies and several outside entities helping us kind of revise where our strategy needs to go on the digital side. I can tell you though, our business has been about the network of individuals who we've met through the marketplace, who we've met in the community, who we've met through our participation in other networking events and other nonprofit endeavors. That's how we have won business over the years. Somebody out in Oregon very rarely is going to Google search for a company like ours and find us at the top of the list. And am I looking to change that? Well, regionally, I want to compete a little bit better. Nationally, not so sure that that's worth the dollars, but that's yet to be determined.
Right, got it. Now, in regards to your, hold on one second, let me check my notes here just to make sure I have it straight. In regards to the expanding your services, I know you talk about security audits. Is there one area that looks, one opportunity that looks especially attractive to you in terms of add-on services to your clients?
Well, I think one thing that we've seen a lot over the years is we've been participating in a lot of cloud migration projects. Everyone throws around the word the cloud, and companies even say we want to be in the cloud. We don't even know what that means, and so there's a lot of education that goes within that. But what we've seen over the years is a lot of software providers are now offering the option of having their database environment cloud hosted. We've had companies who have been traditionally an on-premise company start to do more hybrid projects where they have some of their data is residing on-prem, some of their data is residing in the cloud. That area, I think we've seen a lot of growth in companies wanting to move to more cloud-based services because they realize that availability and reliability and scalability are all improved by pursuing those type of endeavors. So that's been an area that we've seen a lot of growth. It's been an area that, again, we look at how can we productize that? How can we help them make an easy transition? How can we help them really think about this in the right strategic manner so that they're just not, it's not as simple as just lifting it up and throwing it up into the cloud. There's a strategy that you have to employ to get there.
Right. Now, how are you letting your existing clients know about all these other additional services that you can provide them?
So we do several things. One is we've created a customer advisory board. That customer advisory board is made up of 15 representatives from some of our clients all over the board. So some of our large enterprise clients, some of our mid-market enterprise, some of our upper small business companies. And that customer advisory board, we provide them, one, an opportunity to interact with one another and share ideas about what they're working on in their own businesses, but also to give us feedback on what areas they would like to see us focus more. So that's one area that I think that's been a win for us, is our customer advisory board. I think another area is we are active in the SQL community. We are active in seminars. We're active in presenting out to our clients, either or through our clients or through potential prospects online, and kind of pursuing, again, back to that thought leadership, trying to bring new ideas to the table and participating in seminars as speakers for sometimes other companies, other partner firms who we partner with, will ask us to come speak about database specific topics. And so by being involved in those activities has helped us really illuminate and think about what other offerings we can bring to the table with our clients.
Right, got it. Now, you talk about a number of ways of growing your business from around 4 million in 2018 to 4.5 or more in 2019. Mm-hmm. From a marketing perspective, what do you think is the biggest number one challenge that your team needs to overcome to get to your target?
I think for a small business, and I still consider ourselves a small business, I think for a small business, it's awareness that you exist. I think that's one you always struggle with. I mean, in the Richmond area, I've been a part of the Richmond IT community for many years, and so in the Richmond area, people know me, people know my company. We've done a great job of being active, and people know who we are. But if we travel 2 hours south to another major market, so the Tidewater area, Norfolk, Chesapeake, Hampton, etc., and you ask company X on the street, do you know who Solvaria is? The answer is no, I don't know who they are. And again, it's not my goal to be a household name, but to bring awareness in the region of who we are and what we do. I think that's a big challenge for companies. And so trying to really cross the boundaries of your home office and where you are, and get awareness. And so that's been a challenge for us. And so from a marketing perspective, we try to think about what activities we can endeavor in to help bring us into another community, and how to bring us into the thought of any buyers, anybody who's interested or who has experienced a problem with a particular service. Right.
Now, what have you tried so far to build awareness? What's worked and what hasn't worked outside of your region?
Well, so I'd say what's worked has been for us to become part of the technology community. So, for example, Richmond has its own SQL Server users group. So Hampton Roads has a SQL Server users group. And so by participating in those meetings, by being part of the technology community down there, and being involved in different activities and trying to build your network of people who either know you from your work with them elsewhere, or who have made contact with one of your salespeople in a prior career or prior life. So being able to exploit those and being able to work through that, I think that's been good. I think what hasn't worked for us is trying to insert ourselves into a community by saying, okay, well, we're hosting a seminar on some topic. Companies, I'm not going to be so bold and say the traditional seminar is dead, but I think there's such a demand for people's time and what people can gather online and through webinars and webcasts, etc. I think the traditional face-to-face seminar doesn't work anymore, and is very hard to do as an unknown coming into a company. Now, if we co-branded with a local firm, that seems to work okay. So if you're used to using Company X and all your services, and you have a joint seminar with them, that seems to work okay. But if you're coming in under your own power, we find that the attendance isn't even, the response and attendance isn't even enough for us to hold the seminar. It just doesn't seem to want to work.
Yeah, definitely. There's a critical mass that's needed before it makes sense. Although I imagine that the people who are willing to make the time to attend a seminar and learn about the seminar And assuming that you don't do it in a fancy venue and they're just and that they're just trying to get a nice lunch for free, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Right. I imagine those people who are coming purely for the knowledge, those might be really good prospects for you, right?
Oh,
Because
yeah. I mean, look, 15 years ago, you could have a seminar and you could have 7 people attend your seminar. And if one of them bought from you, it paid for the price of the seminar.
Yeah.
And that's the numbers don't hold true as much now, but it's still the investment of time. But I think that, if you can get a critical mass attending and you get one person buying from you, it will justify the cost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you tried going the online route for holding seminars online? Webinars?
We do some webinars. We've done some webinars. I don't know. My problem with some of the webinars, and again, we're looking at different type of software to actually be able to host these webinars, because some of them allow people to come in anonymously, or people to register and then not register their names, or people come in without you being able to identify or market to them afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
That I have a problem with that. So there's technology now that lets us control that, and we're working through what would be the best. But honestly, it takes a lot of time to put original content together, and if we are going to spend that kind of time, then I want to make sure that I've got the maximum amount of eyeballs that are going to see that presentation and that are going to want to look at it at a later date. So we've done webinars where we have it, we record it, we have it pre-recorded so that somebody else could log in, identify, use their name to convert to us, and then be able to download that content.
Right. Has that worked well so far?
I think it's worked okay. I don't like I said, 90+% of our business has been through our contact network, through who we know, through people who we've done business with at other places who then go to different companies. So I'll put it as a TBD is what I'll put it down.
Yeah, I'd say I'm a big fan of automation. Like right now, as we're talking, I have a campaign running, right? And
yep.
Even before we started talking, I already had some people reply to me from the campaign, and I just, quite frankly, yes, face-to-face conversion rates can be a lot higher. But if you're getting some conversions running in the background that didn't require you to do much other than set it up, I mean, that's just
that'd be great. It's a winner. Yeah, absolutely.
So, All right, 3 last questions for you.
Okay.
If Solvaria were to have a billboard in the Richmond area, or maybe you want to go beyond that and you want to go into a new region, what would be your billboard message? And keep in mind that people typically drive by a billboard in 6 seconds, so you don't have a lot of time to get your message out there.
Yeah, I think for us, it's protecting the 2 most important aspects of your business, or managing the 2 most important aspects of your business, which is your data and your people. So providing sound leadership and providing sound data strategy, data guidance. I think those are all messages I would like to see on a billboard. It's short and sweet, but everybody knows data is the lifeblood of an organization. Maybe we should even change it, Malcolm, and say data is the lifeblood of your organization. Who are you relying on to protect it, and who are you relying on to manage it? That's a really interesting message, and the reason why is because over the years, companies who invest a lot of money and a lot of time in gathering data from their customers and from their constituents and their partners, and then they find themselves relying on one individual to manage that data environment, and that one individual, not the best talent that you've ever hired. And that's a scary prospect for us, because data is everything for a company.
Oh yeah.
So I'd say that's a good short message we could address.
Yeah, protecting the lifeblood of your organization.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's a good one. And my 2 final questions for you: who are your ideal customers, or rather, who are your ideal clients, and what's the best way for them to reach your team?
So our ideal customer, that's an easy one, because our ideal customer on the data services side is companies that have either 0 or 1 DBA, where they have a single point of failure in the organization. So they have either no database expertise, or they have 1 DBA who is the one who's supposed to be responsible 24/7 for their environment. So that's an ideal customer for us. Another ideal customer is companies that have a team of DBAs, but they may be more junior in nature, or they've experienced a lot of turnover in that area. We insert ourselves as a senior member of that team and kind of help build quality database departments. So that's our ideal customer on the database services side. On the strategic leadership side, really, we look at companies where all the IT decisions are being made by the COO, the CFO, or the CEO. So they don't have an IT leader. That's where we come in on the strategic leadership side, and we can really help manage and build an IT department for companies who either might be growing and start to need a bigger technology presence, or companies that are going through some type of transition where their current IT leadership is gone or is suspect of really not being able to do the best job they could do. So that's kind of where we go from a customer perspective.
All right, got it. And what's the best way for them to contact your team?
The easiest way is going to solvaria.com and hitting contact us and really talking with them. And we are all infinitely approachable. So customers can certainly email any of us directly, and they can really reach out to us. And our website has all that information.
Would you like to spell out the name of your website? Solvaria doesn't sound like it's
sure.
a real word, right? It's a created word?
It is a created word. Yeah, it was our nod to our former company name had solutions in the title, so the SOL really was a nod to our former name. The VA, obviously, Virginia is an area that we took. So when we look at Solvaria, Solvaria to me sounds like a place, since when we went through, everybody goes through a marketing exercise when naming a company, and Solvaria sounds to me like a place. And so we like to think of it as a place where, we have the highest level professionals. So yeah, it's Solvaria, is SOLVARIA.com.
All right, fantastic. Greg, it's been awesome having you on my show today. Really enjoyed hearing how you grew your company so fast.
Great, thanks a lot, Malcolm. Take care.
We've been speaking with Greg Samuels, the CEO of Solvaria, about his company's rapid growth. For interviews with other fast-growing, high-value sales companies, or to learn how we can accelerate your firm's high-value sales through automation, visit eversprint.com.